There now follows a film from the Ministry of Supply and Transport. It has been classified as secret. Remember, walls have ears. We will now visit the railway network at Southampton docks operated by the Southern Railway Company. The men, women and machines continue to do sterling war work as we move towards Operation Overlord. I will now hand you over to our man at the docks.
It's the dark days of World War II, and Southampton Docks was playing a massive part in the war effort. During the war there were 69 raids on the docks, 40 bombs falling in just one raid. Here we see an E1 and its crew bravely carrying on work despite the raid. The E1 had been sent to the docks to help with the war effort. E1s were designed by Stroudley and entered service in 1874. They would again be sent to the docks in later years. Between May the 26th and the 4th of June 1940, Operation Dynamo, the evacuation of the British Expeditionary Force from Dunkirk, saw many ships arrive at the docks with returning troops needing onward transport. This included evacuated troops by the little ships, many wounded needing immediate care. Normandy has arrived to take the medical staff to a waiting ambulance train. However, on arrival, control says due to an unexploded bomb, there are no mainline locos to take the train forward. Could the crew of the B4 take the train to St Denis, a nearby junction, where a Q-class had been taken off its freight train specially to haul the ambulance train to the Royal Victoria Hospital at Netley? After the Battle of France was lost, time was limited for anyone living in the Channel Islands. 25,000 people went to England, 17,000 from Guernsey, 6,000 from Jersey, and 2,000 from Alderney, in 10 days before the German troops landed at the end of 1940. Many arrived at Southampton needing onward travel. Here a King Arthur class loco and the unusual combination of Aleni Arctique coaches has been sent by the War Office to pick up some of the island evacuees. There were terrible air raids on the docks in 1941 and 42. In 1942, America started to ship masses of goods to Southampton to meet the war effort and our domestic needs. This was lease lend, and most of it was dispersed by rail. The newly introduced Q1s, designed by Oliver Bullard, had been specifically designed for wartime freight traffic. Q1s arrived in service in 1942. They were very powerful, if a little light on brake force. Austerity was the byword then, and the Q1s looked like nothing else. Southampton had become a major port HQ for the US Army. The close cooperation with the Southern Railway was noted by the erection of a plaque at the dock gates. Here we see a Dean Goods. Swindon Railway Works built 260 of these goods locomotives between 1883 and 1899 to a design by William Dean. At the outbreak of the Second World War, the War Department requisitioned 100 of these engines from the Great Western. Some locomotives of the class had the unusual distinction of being shipped overseas in both World Wars. 32 of the 108 locomotives requisitioned during the Second World War had been previously requisitioned during the First World War, and of those 32, 24 were again sent overseas. Most, but not all, were fitted with pannier tanks. During 1943-44, D-Day preparations were well underway. Mulberry harbours were constructed in secret at the dry docks. A direction, number 26, was issued on the 19th of April 1944 and remained in force until the 14th of June 1944. Southampton docks were to be covered in camouflage and smoke screens, which was meant to ensure that dockside activity was obscured from enemy reconnaissance. Immediately after D-Day, codenamed Overlord, in just 17 weeks more gross tonnes of traffic than for the whole of the previous year was handled at the docks. Between D-Day and VJ Day, 14 months, 30.5 million gross tonnes of shipping entered the docks. 2.5 million tonnes of freight was handled, 3.5 million servicemen passed through the port, 21,000 railway wagons and 770 locomotives were shipped. Another flow of traffic at this time was prisoner of war trains. The majority were taken to a transit camp at Kempton Park Racecourse for interrogation. Here we see a train specially arranged for the job, hauled by a Southern Railway S15 class loco. The coaches have had banners attached at the break ends declaring POW, Kempton Park, presumably to notify railway staff. Very unusually for a passenger train, this one includes a Queen Mary brake van behind the loco. This was to convey extra military guards to ensure order. The coaches of London South Western design have been specially secured for these trips. I hope you have enjoyed this portrayal of wartime in Southampton docks. The amazing effort by railway staff cannot be underestimated. If you'd like to see a video from the time, then check out the information box for this video where I'll post a link.
So we leave this hub of activity, safe in the knowledge that the war work will carry on day and night, air raid or no.